Yeah.
That was in...
California, somewhere.
excuse me?
It was in California.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the beginning of the '84 tour. We were playing... Now that was unusual too, because we opened that tour in L.A. with a week at the Palace. And George Duke came up, and all the Ainsley Dunbar, and all different kind of people. Now, was that when Slonimsky came up? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly. But I do remember that he came up, and he played on my keyboard rig. In fact, I stepped back and I watched him from behind to see what he was doing. It was very interesting.
It was Santa Monica, I think.
Santa Monica,
yeah.
Exactly. That's what it was. Yeah. But anyway, it was also a very emotional experience that we had summer of '94, summer after Frank died. A bunch of us were asked to put together sort of an all-star band from different eras and do some concerts in Europe. Were you at any of those? We played a jazz festival in Germany. I think it was just Germany that we did that summer. And it was only a week or two.
94?
94.
Yes, I have seen the video of that.
I remember we went one evening. We went. All of us went for dinner at one of the people that was connected with the promotion for that thing and had been a fan for a long time. Invited us into his home for dinner, and we went, and a few of us were just kind of talking about old times, and it was difficult.
Would you like to tell me something about your other collaborations? I have a big credit list of the work of the people you have worked with. First of all, Bette Midler.
Oh, Bette Midler. I joined her band. That was actually, let's see now. That was right after the '82 Zappa tour. When I got home from that, I got a call. Now that was another nice thing about joining the Zappa band. After I got into Frank's band, I never had to audition for anything ever again. People just knew, and I got the call to go out and do Bette's tour. Actually, from one of the girls who was in her backup trio called the Harlettes, a lady named Katie Segal, who is now a big TV star. Married with Children is the show that she plays the wife on, and I had worked with Katie quite a few years before. She was also one of the first people that I had met when I came to L.A. in '76, and Katie at the time was with a struggling band as a singer, and but then she hooked up with Bette and told Bette about me, and I didn't have to audition. I just they said, we would like you to do this tour. So I went, and that was a wonderful band. The musical director was Bobby Lyle, very gifted jazz pianist. Pops Popwell from the Crusaders on bass. Ricky Lawson, who's toured with Michael Jackson and many, many others, on drums. Buzzy Featon on guitar. And I was playing organ and synth. And a percussionist from Gambia named Malando Gassama. But anyway, that was a great band and a lot of fun. And I was very glad that I was not the musical director at that time, because Bette could be very volatile. And if something didn't go just exactly right, Bobby Lyle got his head ripped off. It was very, very professional show. Bette she's not the best singer, she's not the best dancer, she's not the best actress, but boy, when you put the whole package together, she is a wonderful entertainer, and people just love her. She has a fanatical following. So it was Although the music was not as challenging technically as Frank's, it was fun because the band was great. It was very enjoyable to play with those guys, and we did some things that were interesting and different. Some things that I hadn't really been called upon to do before. But I also got a chance to play some real kind of R&B and gospel organ and sing some in that style as well, because with all the things that the Harlettes were doing physically on stage, it wasn't possible for them to really carry the harmonies all the time, so they relied on the band to pitch in there as well. And then I took over as MD. The band changed up a little bit at the end of that tour. But we basically did the same show, just with a different band. So I kind of inherited the show and took over as musical director, and I didn't have to really create much in the way of new things. I just had to get the new band up to speed on what was going on there. So that was and taking over as her musical director was a very high level spot for me to be in. It was a good thing. And because the show had already been established by that time, I didn't have to take the heat that Bobby had to take earlier on,
Okay. And Prince?
Prince, I did a recording session with him. That was an interesting thing. It was a rainy night. I got a call from a guy named Steve Medeo, who was a trumpet player that used to do all of Stevie Wonder's things and a lot of session work here in L.A., originally from New York. And Steve and I had done some things together through Bob Margouleff, who used to produce Stevie Wonder and the Isleys and Billy Preston, and then went on to some more unusual things like Devo and all. And I met Bob Margouleff was one of the first contacts I made in L.A. in '76, and I did just about every project he did from that point on, because he saw right away that he could use me and not have to hire 3 or 4 other people, because I could do the horn charts and play the sax solos and play the keyboards and sing on the backgrounds and do the background vocal arrangements and all that kind of stuff. So that was that connection. So Steve Medeo called me and said, hey, I just got a call from Prince. He wants us to come down in the studio. And he was doing a session with Sheila E., who I had met years ago touring with Orleans. She was playing, her and her dad were playing for Stephen Stills, and Orleans and Stephen Stills were together. So Sheila E. was with Prince, and they wanted some horn parts on this very kind of quirky 50s beatnik thing that Prince had done. I don't remember anything about it except there was one line in there where he said, "They really, really hated my yellow pants." It was almost Zappa-esque. So they wanted these kind of free-form, free jazz kind of beatnik horn things in there. And it was Steve Medeo, myself, and a guy named Slide Hyde on trombone, and a couple other guys. I don't remember who else was on the date. There were 5 of us, and we just came in there and we did these parts. And Prince was very kind of removed and standoffish and not like with the guys at all. And he came out and he played some voicings on the piano. He knew what he wanted to get. He's not a trained musician, but he knows in his head and with his ears what he wants to get, and he's very good at getting it out. So it wasn't really a wonderful experience or remarkable in any particular way. It was just Prince called some guys that could do special things to come in and do them, and we did it and we left.
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney, that was really a treat. I had been called to sing with Kenny Loggins on a big kind of a choir thing at the end of one of his songs. This was at the Hollywood Bowl a couple of years ago. I don't remember exactly when. A couple summers ago. And before the show was over, Paul McCartney was also on the show and finishing the show. Before the show was over, he kind of sent word to everybody that he wanted everybody that had been in the show to come out and participate with him on Hey Jude at the end of the show. So I got a chance to sing Hey Jude with Paul McCartney, and when it was done, he went and shook hands with the band, and then he looked across the stage at the choir. He looked straight at me.